Hi, my name is Ralph Bass. I'm the author of a new book entitled BAPTIDZO, a 500-year study in the Greek word baptism. This book just came out recently, and I want to explain to you why I wrote it. Now, in fact, I was raised a Baptist, and all my life believed that baptism was by dipping. A brief envelopment of water, and then back up again. And that was what baptism was all about. I began to question that in time, and in fact, I decided to do a study on the history of the word baptidzo. Now, a history of the word baptidzo simply means I went back in the Greek literature about 500 years and began to read how the ancient Greek historians and philosophers and the writers of their literature used this word baptidzo, and to determine if I could get some idea of what occurred, what happened when they used it. In fact, I found they used it in a variety of ways, and of course the common comment by those that are usually called Baptists, that the word baptizo means to immerse, is both correct and incorrect. It's correct in that immerse does mean to envelop within some liquid for an indeterminate amount of time. But in fact, Baptists do not envelop within a liquid for an indeterminate amount of time, but for a very short period of time. So I found that when people in the Greek literature, the classic literature of the Greeks, were quote-unquote baptized, they in fact were drowned because they were enveloped within water for an indeterminate or a long period of time. And in fact, anything that was enveloped within some type of liquid for an indeterminate amount of time received from that baptizing liquid whatever it was capable of conveying. And by that I mean water conveys to human beings or animals death. And to something like a pickle, or I should say cucumber, envelopment within some type of vinegar brine will produce a pickle. That is, the liquid that it's enveloped within will convey that which it has the capacity to convey. Interestingly, I found that when people were to drink a lot of alcohol in the classic period, it is said of them that they were baptized. That is, the alcohol conveyed that which it was capable of conveying, and that's drunkenness. They even used this of opiates and things of this nature. People were considered to be baptized. That is, that which the opiate could convey, it did convey, and that's a state of stupor or whatever the case might be. And I learned that this concept of drunkenness, for instance, by drinking a lot of alcohol and calling it a baptism, was a growth. You might call it a secondary application of the use of the word baptizo, and that is the word began to be used of anything that received some quality without the actual envelopment, but received that quality by being in the presence of that thing. In fact, in the ancient temples and the pagan religions, washings by sprinkling were called baptisms. That is, that which it was intended to convey, ceremonial purification, it was considered to have conveyed, and thereby was considered a baptism. And so I not only studied the ancient Greek literature, but I expanded that and went into the Septuagint, where the baptizo is used twice, in Isaiah 21, and then again in 2 Kings 5. I studied the Apocrypha, where it's used 3 times. I studied a group of writings called the Pseudepigrapha, where it is used numerous times, maybe 8 or 10 times. I studied one of the great Hebrew philosophers called Philo of Alexandria, where it's used quite a few times, and in his documents. And then I studied Josephus, the great historian of the Jewish community, approximately 70 AD, right past the period of Christ. And then I continued a little bit into the New Testament by studying John's baptism. Now the point of the matter is, again, I wanted to see how these historians, how these philosophers, how these ancients used the word baptizo in order to determine what I could learn about the meaning, and thereby could go into the New Testament and see if that meaning in the modern day community is understood and applied to the word and to the practice of baptism. So this book, this one right here, entitled Baptidzo, is that study, and I would encourage you to take a look at my website if you would. It is at living.hope.press.com, and take a look at this book and see if it can provide this historical background on how the ancients used this word, and see if we're using it correctly by the time we're interpreting what the New Testament was saying about this act of baptism. Thank you. Bye.